Although it's an art show, the poems are almost the first thing you should do, and then the imagery and all of the other thoughts should reflect out of what you experience with the poem.
In our calendar, we deliberately leave open a time slot to be able to invite or respond to the community, artists that we think are exceptional. My name is Diana Hansen, Director of Galleries at Kranzberg Art Center. I'm so pleased to be introducing this exhibit by Byron Sletten and Ted Kooser. It's a collaboration. Byron Sletten has done the drawings and Ted Kooser has written the poetry.
I got interested in Ted's work about a year and a half ago. He's a two-time poet laureate, won a Pulitzer Prize for one of his books. He lives in Lincoln, Nebraska, and has what I consider to be kind of this observational style that he looks at things, he looks at people, he looks at their relationships, their interactions, and then toward the end of his poem, he kind of unwraps it to be really kind of a bigger issue than what you would think this would be. And so as I was reading his work and I was thinking about a collaboration with a poet, his stuff just seemed like it was slotted right in with my intentions. There was some connection even before there was a connection. 3 or 4 of the images in the show were created before I even knew Ted or even read any of his work. And so as we started to talk and collaborate, he thought, well, that kind of works with this poem. And I thought, well, that kind of works with that poem too. And then he started sending me new work that he had not published. And that was a whole different sort of intention because now I'm actually working off of his, his words. My work is really designed in the computer, in 3D software, photorealistic renderings of things that don't exist. There's no brush, it's all done in the computer and it's all rendered in very high resolution so they can be blown up. And sometimes they take a week just to render one image. So they can be pretty intensive in computational sense. There's a kind of a geekiness to the work. It's a combination of some experience as being a painter, a tradition of composition and form, basic design principles, and violating them to the degree that they're interesting, right? And then there's also the pre-visualization process. Some of them are visualized very quickly, and I read his poem and I go, oh, I see this in my head almost immediately. I just have to make this stuff in the computer. And then there's a little bit of a film kind of quality to it, like getting a point of view. Like in the case of the porch with the chair, my question was always like, well, am I looking into the porch or am I this person looking out from inside the house, looking out? And I talked to Ted about that and he goes, well, I'm not really concerned too much with point of view. I'm more concerned about just observing things. And so we kind of have a little bit of a difference in how we work in that